Hey loves, this is SR Welcome to my YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Enjoy. Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. I just decided that I was gonna sit down today and do as many videos as I can, so I'm gonna look like this in a couple of videos, but it's okay. Y'all will be used to it because I do this often. But in this video, I want to talk about my all-time favorite romance movies. Not in a particular order, not from least favorite to most favorite, but just a list of a couple of romance movies that I really like. And I'm not gonna do a review or a summary of these movies, but I'm gonna briefly talk about why I like them, why they're my favorites. So I'm gonna jump right into the video with Love Jones. I kind of feel like Love Jones is self-explanatory. Like, it's just the ideal black romance movie. Like, you have an all-black cast. You get to see these black people doing normal black people things. Like, there's nothing like out of the way, nothing stereotypical or whatever. Like, I really love that it is about regular black people and creatives at that, and I connect with that because I'm a creative, I'm a writer, you know. So I would like to think that I'm a photographer a little bit. Like, I'm not really like that skilled at it, but I know how to take pictures of myself. But I really like Darius Love Hall's character because I see similarities in myself. I see similarities in him that I see in myself. Like, you know, he's very straightforward and like kind of I'm not gonna say aggressive, assertive with what he wants. There were parts where he was kind of aggressive and he was crossing the line a little bit, like when he got her address and went to her house. Like, that was too much. That was stalkerish. He was doing too much. That is not cute and that is not okay. It was too much. But aside from that, like, I love that character because it reminds me a lot of myself. Like, you know, when she was asking him why everything was urgent with him, and he was telling her, you know, I love you, and that's urgent. Like, I love you now, and I want to love you now. That's urgent to me. That's the type of person that I am. Like, when I have feelings for somebody, I want to act on those feelings. I don't want to just sit on them. It kind of bugs me to have feelings for somebody and like, and I'm not saying that they don't reciprocate. I could take rejection. Like, you could tell me that you don't want to be with me or whatever, but like, when you got feelings for me too, but you're stalling for whatever reason, like you are afraid or whatever, I don't know, but I don't like that because you never know what's going to happen in life. You never know how long you're going to be here or whatever, so you need to like act on your stuff. Like, take those risks sometimes, you know. Not saying every risk is a risk that you need to take, but sometimes. And I like the fact that Darius went after her. He loved her. Like I said, some of the things he did was out of line. He was interested in her. He went after her. And you know, relationships are not like that now. Like, they aren't. Like, a lot of guys seem to be afraid to do that because it's like, I don't want to put my all into a woman. I don't want to go after her because what if it don't turns out? Like, if it doesn't turn out, it just don't turn out. I don't understand why people are so afraid to love and to get hurt. Like, it's a part of life. It happens. What are you running from? Like, it's not like I felt Darius in the moment because it's like, I love you. What is there to wait for? What are you talking about? Why are we waiting till we get in better situations? I love you now. Let's do this now. That's why I like him. That's why I love the movie. But I'm going to move on to the next one because I can go on and on about that one. But I'm definitely going to do a review. And I'm going to try to mix things up. I don't want to just tell what I think about the movie. But, like, I want to, like, point out some of the red flags and, you know, some of the things that I feel like he shouldn't have done and things that he should have done. You know, I want to deconstruct it, analyze it, and talk to you guys about the things that happen rather than just telling you about the movie and how I feel about it. But I'm gonna do that at a later date with all of these movies. Okay, number 2 is Cruel Intentions. Cruel Intentions were one of those movies that, you know, like how everyone loves The Notebook. I know that Cruel Intentions isn't like the typical romance movie or whatever, because there was a lot of things that happened that shouldn't have. Like, there was a lot of like problematic things that happened in that movie. But like I said, in another video, I will deconstruct and analyze the things in these movies. But the reason why I like it is because it wasn't the typical romance movie. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't boy falls in love with girl, girl falls in love with boy, and they do this or that to get the other's attention or whatever. But, you know, Sebastian was a player. He was the typical, I feel, the guy in college who goes after women. He gets some type of gratification out of going after women. And Sebastian was to the point that he kept a record of the women that he went after, which is very weird. But like, I liked it because it kind of like exposed that side of dating, like when, like from a guy's point of view, and like when guys do things like that, the things that they do when it comes to dating, their perspectives about women, what they think about women and stuff like that. And then he ends up falling in love with the girl, so it kind of like breaks the code basically, because you're supposed to be a player. Players don't fall in love, and then you fall in love, and then, you know, you start moving different. And I liked it because it wasn't the typical, you know, I'm going to approach this girl with ulterior motives and with hidden intentions, and then when I get her, and, you know, and then when we start spending time together, I fall in love, and, you know, we live happily ever after. It was very realistic. It was very realistic about what dangerous things that can happen when you play games like that with people and their feelings and their emotions. And I really loved it because of that, because it highlighted that. It wasn't just the typical romance story where things happen that are problematic and it's ignored, and then the two people end up together and they live happily ever after. That's not reality. Like, a lot of the time things happen the way that they played out on Cruel Intentions, and I like it for that reason, because it was different. Like, it was something, it was real to me, and I love the perspective that they kind of showed us when it came to Sebastian. Okay, the number 3, No Strings Attached. I would say No Strings Attached is kind of the typical like romance story, the typical thing that happens when, you know, you have two career-driven people, young people who they want the relationship. I mean, they want the benefits of a relationship without the title, and so they commit themselves to this contract, this verbal contract, no strings attached. We'll have sex, we'll hang out whenever we want to, whatever, but we won't fall in love, whatever. And y'all already know how things like that turn out. Like, it's not realistic that you're gonna just have sex with somebody and not have no feelings. I'm not one of those people who believe that people can do that. I just don't. I feel like some people are better at hiding their feelings, so it seems like they don't have feelings, but I don't believe that you're walking away with no feelings while you're like having sex with somebody like continuously. If it was a one-time thing, I get that. I don't think you're gonna fall in love with somebody just from one time. Some people do, but like, it's not, that's rare. But like, if you continuously having this relationship with someone, you're eventually somebody's gonna catch feelings. And I like how in this movie it was a romantic comedy, you know, Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis, and aren't they together? They ended up, it's not Ashton Kutcher, my bad, Justin Timberlake and Mila Kunis. No, I was right. Ashton Kutcher and what's the girl name is? I love her. She's like one of my favorite actresses. What's her name? Is it Brittany? Let me look it up real quick. It was Natalie Portman and Ashton Kutcher. Okay, so this, I'm getting No Strings Attached and Friends with Benefits mixed up, which is both on my list. And they're pretty much kind of the same movies, but they just don't play out the same way. So basically, the woman, Natalie Portman played or whatever, I think she's a nurse. She's in nursing school or something like that. She ends up meeting Ashton Kutcher. Ashton Kutcher's character. I forgot how they met, but they end up doing the same thing like I was explaining, an arrangement for them to use each other for sex, basically. And at first, I think he falls in love with her first, and then she kind of like runs from him, and then eventually, well, she kind of runs from him, and then she realizes that she's in love with him too. And like, it was just this back and forth like it always is with No Strings Attached. But I'm just going to put both of these movies together because they're pretty much the same. No Strings Attached and Friends with Benefits. Basically, two people who make arrangement to just have sex with each other, to date casually, and they end up falling in love with each other. The reason why I love these movies is because of the comedy. Like, I enjoy watching them. They're funny. And some of the things that happen are realistic, but not everything that happened in it was realistic. And you know, it's a cute movie to watch. It's really cute. It's really funny. I wouldn't say that it has like there are lessons learned in it though, that casual sex doesn't always work out or whatever. Like, it pretty much shows you how bad of an idea it is to do the casual sex thing, because it doesn't work out. It doesn't always work out. Like, I'm pretty sure there are people who maybe have been successful when doing that, but like, I just don't think that it works out. But I like the movie because it's funny, it's cute. You know, it's one of those romance movies that you can watch repeatedly and like never get tired of it. I'm going to go to number 5 because I did 3 and 4 together. About Last Night, I feel like it's so underrated. Like, Michael Ealy and Joy Bryan. It also has Kevin Hart and Regina Hall on there as well, which are the two of them are so hilarious together. But I really like this movie because of the comedy as well, and because I like the story. I like the story between Joy Bryan and Michael Ealy's character. Them trying to be like their friends and doing a casual thing, and they end up in a relationship, and things don't work out because I think he's struggling with his work. He's not happy with what he's doing for his career, and he's struggling, and she's being successful. So it kind of like shows how that whole thing, the financial gap between a man and a woman, can affect their relationship. And you know, other things happen too, like, you know, exes popping up, them being unsure about what they were doing because they moved too fast or whatever. And I really like the movie because, like I said, it was funny, and also because I love seeing Michael Ealy and Joy Bryan on the screen. I thought that they had a great chemistry together in that movie. And yeah, I just enjoy watching it, so that's why I like it. Number 6, The Photograph. The Photograph is a newer romance movie that I really like. I love the like quirky and awkwardness and stuff like that in the movie. And you know, some of the conversations that they were having seemed very like awkward and like stiff, but in my opinion, it was real. Because like, when you're dating somebody, you don't always know what to say. Sometimes things come out wrong, and sometimes you're babbling, sometimes you're saying corny stuff. And I really liked how raw and real that the dialogue was between the two, which was Issa Rae and Lakeith Stanfield, who is a beautiful man. Like, it's just crazy how Lakeith Stanfield can do literally nothing to his looks. Like, he can really just show up you know, just washed, cleaned, his clean face or whatever, his scruffy beard, his scruffy facial hair, and then like his hair not being like neat and, you know, pretty or whatever. And he just so fine. The way that he dresses is simple. Excuse me. It's simple, but like he's so fine. It really just doesn't make sense. But that's one of the reasons why I like the movie, because he's cute too. I also love Issa Rae. And I like the chemistry. Like, I like the banter between the two characters. That's what makes me really like the movie. And it's really cute. Like, it's romantic. Like, the context, like what it's about. Like, him doing research on a story that he's doing and coming across her mother, who was a photographer, and ends up connecting with her biological father, and, you know, meeting her in the process, helping her to, well, not helping her to find it, because her mother was the one who sent letters, because her mother had died, and so she sent letters to everyone, and including the daughter, you know, telling them, being honest with them about things and what happened, who her real father was, and stuff like that. But I just like how they came together. Like, it was such a coincidence, and like he really liked her. They really liked each other, but at the same time, she was afraid to like take that step. But I really like it because, like I said, I like the chemistry between the two characters and like their banter, the awkward banter, and it's so freaking cute. Like, it was so cute to me. Number 7, If Beale Street Could Talk. That movie was so beautiful. The way that they just looked at each other, like, I literally will just watch hours of footage of them just looking into each other's eyes. Like, it was the most sexiest thing that I have ever seen. Like, some people like porn. I love intimacy. I like watching people be intimate with each other, like the way that they look at each other, the way that they kiss. You can feel the energy between the two of them. I love stuff like that. To me, that's porn. That would turn me on more than, you know, watching people have actual sex. Like, it was such a beautiful movie. It was very gentle, and like the way you know, the things that happened, like her finding out she was pregnant for him getting locked up, wrongfully arrested for something he didn't do, for a rape that he didn't do, and, you know, her being supportive, and their families, well, her family and his father coming together to support him with what he was going through, and her, what she was going through being pregnant and not having him around. And her family really supporting her, because y'all know usually in black families, the girl, when she gets pregnant, she's condemned and she's shunned away, and they're embarrassed and they give her a lecture. But no, her family came together and they really supported her, and it was nice to see something like that. That's why I really like it, because of the dynamic between her family and his family, and then their relationship. It was so beautiful. Like, it's just one of those things that you just watch and be like, oh my god, like, I wish somebody would look at me like that. Like, that's why I like it, because the way they look at each other is so beautiful. Number 8, Your Name. Your Name is actually an anime movie. If you don't watch anime, or if you haven't seen it, I definitely think that you should check it out. If you don't mind reading subtitles, because of course it's in Japanese. But it's just this beautiful story about this young girl and this young boy. I think they kind of exist in different times. Like, they don't, the events that was happening wasn't occurring at the same time. So it was kind of like they were in different dimensions, but they weren't. Like, they had this connection that was really interesting. Like, one thing that I really love about anime is just the things that they come up with. The imagination is like top tier when it comes to the context and like the things that they come up with to tell their stories or whatever. Like, it's so intriguing, so interesting. I know a lot of people don't understand it, but like, it's way deeper than fighting Naruto, Dragon Ball Z. Like, it's deeper than those type of things. Like, I love the romance genre in anime, because they have so like they just come up with so many different ways to do things, and it's so interesting, intriguing, it's beautiful. But this particular movie, Your Name, like I said, I'm not gonna summarize it or nothing like that. I'm just gonna talk about why I like it. I really like it because it was different. Like the way that the two connected, the way that they kind of came together, like I said, they didn't exist at the same point of time, but they had this connection through was it a journal or something like that? They started using a journal to keep track of the things that were going on in their different times. And like they would like have, it would seem like they would be having dreams or whatever about each other, and they would like write down in the journal what happens, so they could keep track of it, because like I said, they didn't exist at the same time. I can't really explain it as of yet, but whenever I go into details about these movies, I will definitely explain what I mean by that. But that's why I really like it, because it's so different. Like the premise, the idea of these two people falling in love with each other, but they don't exist at the same time, so they can't actually be together. It's a beautiful story. The way that it ended was sad, though. It was very sad, I'm not gonna lie. Like I was bawling my eyes out. Like those anime movies be having me crying way more than like the other movies. Okay, the next movie on my list is Woo, with Jada Pinkett Smith. I don't know if she was a Smith back then, but Jada Pinkett and Tommy, dang, I forgot his name. But basically, the reason why I like Woo is because of the comedy, of course. And just because like of the things that she kind of like took him through just to be with her, just to like go out on a date. Like he really was just trying to get out the house and do something different with his life. Like, cause like he was tired of being bored. He had just broken up with this girl who used him to co-sign for a car, and he was still paying for the car, but they weren't together. So the reason why I like this movie is because, you know, he went from being like this innocent, naive pushover, and then when he met Woo, she started forcing him to kind of get out of his ways, putting him in different situations that would make him uncomfortable or whatever. But at the end of the day, it helped him change. It helped him to be more assertive and to go after things and to take initiative and stuff like that. That's why I really like it, because it changed the person that he was from the beginning of the movie and to the end of the movie. And it's very funny. Like I love romantic comedies. Okay, the next movie is I Want to Eat Your Pancreas, and that is also an anime. It's basically an anime about these two, I think they're teenagers. Animes are usually about teenagers or young adults. Let me Google right quick. But like it's about these two people. Sorry, I gotta go to the description. And I think the girl is dying from some type of disease or whatever, and like the boy ends up like falling in love with her. He finds her diary. That's what happens, because it says he finds his classmate's diary and learns her biggest secret, which is she's dying from a pancreatic disease. And he's the only person who knows, like, at the school. So it's kind of like he knows her better than anybody at the school. And, like, he ends up being empathetic to her situation or whatever. Because he's like an introverted boy, and she's like very like extroverted, cheerful. She has like that upbeat personality or whatever. So he kind of like doesn't want to be friends with her because of that. But then he finds her diary and he sees that she's dying from this pancreatic this pancreatic disease, and you know, now he has empathy for her, and you know, they end up getting closer, becoming friends or whatever, loving each other. And then he, you know, starts to wish that he could save her life, basically, and he kind of wants to help her through it, or like just to support her and be there for her while she's going through it or whatever. But I really like it because of that reason. Like, she kind of, I like things that like make the main character changes. Like, he kind of changes and starts to care about somebody, you know, comes out of his introverted ways or whatever, and becomes friends with this girl that he didn't want any parts of because of the type of person that she was. He didn't really gel with her personality. He was more laid back, low key or whatever. She's more cheerful and, you know, happy and like upbeat. Y'all know those people, because I've experienced that. Like, my mom is very much always like upbeat, cheerful, whatever, and I'm very like laid back and low key, and like dealing with somebody who has a personality like that is a lot. It can be a lot. But you know, you appreciate those people because they kind of bring you outside of your shell. They kind of open you up more. They kind of make you more, you know, social, I guess you can say. And that's why I like the movie, because he is a introverted guy who ends up befriending this girl who has like the opposite personality as him, and she kind of like opens him up from himself a little bit. Number 11 is Definitely Maybe. And this movie, the reason why I like this movie is because it's so wholesome and it's so freaking cute. You know, it's starring Ryan Reynolds, and I forgot the little girl's name. Of course, she's an adult now, but she's basically trying to figure out which one of the women from her father's story is her mother, and which one of the women from his stories is he in love with. And like, he kind of goes down like this timeline and talks about, I think it was like four women that kind of shaped his life, kind of made him the person who he is, you know, because of the relationships that they have. And she's trying to figure out if the woman that he's in love with is her mother, by him telling these stories about these women, but not like telling her like the names of the women. And I really like it because like the relationship, the father-daughter relationship, is beautiful, and it's so wholesome and it's so cute. And it's hard to not like. It's one of my favorite romance movies, by the way. One of my favorite movies with Ryan Reynolds, by the way. Because Ryan Reynolds was a romance boy before he started doing like a lot of the stuff that he's doing now, like the superhero stuff, or not hero, but you know what I'm trying to say. Number 12 is To All the Boys I've Loved Before. Now, this is a newer movie that was on Netflix. I think it's a Netflix original movie or whatever. And it's basically about this, I think she's Korean American girl who, she pretty much is like shy, reserved, introverted. She doesn't really live her life or whatever. And she kind of like fantasizes about the things that she wants to say and do, but she doesn't actually act on it. So when she was younger, she wrote these letters to these boys that she had crushes on. And she kind of like put the letters in a box and put them in her closet and hides them. And then her little sister years later finds the letters in her box, and she mails them to each of the boys that she wrote them to or whatever. And this kind of like sets her life into a sequence of events start happening between her and all of the boys that she wrote about in her letters. Like I said, that was kind of a summary, but I'm not gonna finish it or whatever. But I love that it basically like the same as I Want to Eat Your Pancreas. It's about this introverted girl. She's beautiful. She's introverted. You know, she's reserved. She's different. Like, she's kind of like an outcast at her school or whatever. But she kind of like goes through life, or she copes with things and deals with things by fantasizing about things. And I really connected with her on that, because I'm the same way. Like I mentioned before, that I do that. I fantasize about things that may never happen, and they don't happen, and I don't make them happen or whatever. Please excuse the background noise, because people be acting like people don't be doing stuff. People around in the neighborhood, and I really hate it. And I bet you that that's my brother that got that noise, got all of that music playing too. Like, please excuse it. I'm trying to talk over it, but like I don't want to be too loud on the camera or whatever. But I really like it because she kind of comes out of her shell, you know, she's a little hermit. She comes out of her shell, and she kind of starts living the life that she fantasizes about. And this happens because one of the boys that she wrote a letter to is one that she still has a crush on, and like he's in the middle of a breakup with this girl that he keeps having an on again, off again relationship with, and they end up connecting. I think she ends up kissing him because she's trying to hide because one of the boys that she wrote a letter to was her sister's boyfriend, okay, who she secretly had a crush on when she was younger, but she kind of is trying to avoid him, so she kisses the other boy, and so it turns into them making an arrangement for people to think that they go together to make people jealous, and for her to avoid the other boy. And y'all know how the story ends. They end up falling in love. But I really like it because it kind of like takes her on this adventure that kind of gets her out of her shell and makes her more social, and she starts living out some of the fantasies that she's having and stuff like that. And I really like it for that reason, because like I said, I'm like that a little bit to an extent. Like I do go on some adventures, but like I'm lying, I haven't been on one in a while. And I kind of feel like it's the environment too. There's not really a whole lot of people that are into the same things that I'm into, aside from my family, and like I need friends and people to hang with outside of them, because then it defeats the purpose of me trying to be social. But I really like the movie because I really connected with it, and I thought that it was like a new fresh idea, something different, and fun to watch. Number 13 is Weathering with You, which is also an anime movie. It's also a romance anime movie, a beautiful one, and I really like it because it's beautiful. Like it does have something to do with the weather, but let me get my story together. I'm not supposed to even be summarizing. I'm supposed to be telling y'all why I like the movies, but whatever. And it's also raining, if y'all hear the rain. So Weathering with You and Your Name is written by the same person, Makoto Shinkai, I think is how you pronounce it. It is directed by the same person. This basically a love story, and it does have to do with the rain. Set in the rain-soaked streets of modern Tokyo. So I think it's teenagers. It's always teenagers with anime. It's these teenagers that I think they are fascinated with like the weather or whatever. Like their fascination with the weather kind of brings them together. If I'm wrong, I'll put it across the screen to fact check. I think that's how it summarizes, because y'all know, you watch a whole lot of stuff, you don't always remember exactly how it goes, and that's how I am. But I really like this. One of the reasons why I really like this anime is because it is beautiful. Like just watching it on the screen, the animation is beautiful. Like it's flawless, and I love the animation in most animes, movie, TV shows, whether it's a movie or a series. I love it. Like there really hasn't been like an animation that I didn't like. Like even the ones that a lot of people think are weird or whatever, I still like them. But that's one thing I really love about anime, like the different like animation and things. And even though you may see a few animes that have like the same story or whatever. It's always a different approach to it, and I really like that. But the reason why I really like it is, like I said, because of the animation. It's very beautiful to watch. I love when animes include cherry blossoms. Like, I love cherry blossoms, are so beautiful. I don't care what the anime is about, how the animation looks. The cherry blossoms are always so breathtakingly beautiful. Like, it makes me want to go to Japan, and I definitely am going to do that because, like, I have to. Like, it's such a beautiful place. The culture is very beautiful, and like, I really appreciate its culture or whatever. Which is why I cosplay and I watch all the animes. But I really like this movie. Like I said, because of the animation, like, it's beautiful. And you know, when things are aesthetically pleasing, they give you like, they put you in like a good mood. They make you happy. They make you peaceful. It makes me feel peaceful. That's why I like it. Number 14 is Moonlight. And the reason why I like Moonlight is because it tells the story about this boy, this young black boy. It tells the story about this young black boy dealing with his sexuality, like going on a journey, figuring himself out, kind of going through life. And I think he ends up never having sex because of his struggle, like, with his sexuality and like people, like his fear of what people would say, what they would think, and stuff like that. And it kind of goes through his life, the things that he went through as a kid, like the people, this guy that he ends up admiring, like idolizing, not somebody that he ends up falling in love with, but then he has this friend that he has had like a thing for a while, but they didn't hook up until they became adults. Like, nothing, like, there was no like sexual, that there was no sex scenes or nothing like that, because it was a young boy and he was just struggling with his journey, figuring himself out and dealing with his sexuality. And I really like it because you don't really see a whole lot of stories like that. I feel like in our society and in our culture, we try to kind of control people from the LGBT community and like what they show. We kind of like, and I'm saying we because we all have that problem or whatever, even though I'm not prejudiced against anybody, but I'm including myself because I'm a part of the society. But we kind of expect them to hide who they are and hide their lifestyle or whatever. And I don't think it's not fair, like, to tell a person not to be themselves. Like, you can be yourself, but only behind closed doors. Like, I don't want to see you being with the same sex or whatever. And I just think it's ridiculous. But I really like the story because it calls attention to that and how that can really affect people's lives that are a part of the LGBTQ plus community. It was just great to see things from that perspective, and especially from when he was a little kid until he became an adult, and how it affected his life and the things that he had to do to kind of keep his sexuality under wraps so nobody would find out. Like, it really is an eye-opener, honestly, and it should be for everybody, but it was an eye-opener for me, and I really like it because you don't really see stories like that often, and I definitely would like to see more. And you know, I want to do TV shows and movie series and stuff like that too. So I definitely am going to do a story like that. And my last one is How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. Let's see some of this. No. In this era of movies, we saw a lot of movies like this where one of the characters would be either concealing parts of themselves so they can try to win this person over, or they could be secretly dating somebody to get a story, or whatever, and they end up dating this person and then end up falling in love, because that's always how it ends. But in this particular one, she was trying to make this guy fall in love with her and then kind of dump him, like make him dump her, but he wouldn't, because both of them was kind of plotting behind each other's back. They both had hidden intentions or whatever that they were hiding from the other. And it was very interesting to see the back and forth, and to see them still falling for each other even after all of the hidden things that they were doing or whatever. But I really like it because it was very entertaining to see them go back and forth, and to see how things turned out. Like, I don't think movies like that are realistic. I don't know if people actually do stuff like that in real life, but I think that that's ridiculous. And I don't think that it is realistic, but it's very entertaining, and that's one of the reasons why I like it. Well, that was the last movie on my list. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you would like to see me review all of these movies, let me know. But 9 times out of 10, I'm going to review them anyway. Or, like I said, analyze and dissect them, deconstruct them in a different way. Not just talk about what happened and why I liked it and how I felt about it. I want to analyze it for like the problematic things and the things that we kind of accepted while watching these movies, the unrealistic things, things that weren't practical. So eventually I'm going to do that. Of course, I can't do all of this at one time, so give me time. But I hope that you like this video, and thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Let me know what your all-time favorite romance movies are, and if you have things that I didn't name, so give me some suggestions so I can go and look at some movies and tell me what you think about my list. But like I said, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye. Before you go, check out my website at srgrahamwrites.org. Scroll to the very bottom of the webpage to subscribe to my mailing list to get news and updates from me. Also, check out my latest novel, Drown the Lovers. It is book 3 in the 2 Monogamous series. You can purchase it from Amazon and Barnes & Noble. Thank you.